The sound of war had rhythm. 6 sacred drums thundered in a ring of fire, their pulses pounding through the valley of Agbani like ancestral thunder. Each one summoned a god. Light, iron, wind, stone, bone, fire. Bare-chested drummers, painted in ash and palm oil, moved with trance-like fury. Their arms rose and fell like weapons. Their feet stomped like spirits. And then came the 7th, the largest, the oldest. A monstrous drum bound in elephant hide, circled with iron chains, carved with the sigils of kings long turned to dust. The 7th was not a drum of battle, but of reckoning. It had not failed in 300 years. Not once. It was never struck unless blood demanded it. Now, with war pressing against the gates, it stood again. The final drummer stepped forward. His eyes rolled white. His fingers trembled. The air around him thickened, as if the gods themselves held their breath. He struck. Thud. No echo. No wind. No power. Only silence. Then the earth cracked. Slowly. Deeply. And from beneath the mountain came a sound no man had heard in generations. A god's groan, long, furious, and waking. 7th silence. Inside the high sanctum of Agbani, fear moved faster than flame. The war drums had failed, and the priests knew why. High Priest Adu stood over the extinguished altar, hands shaking, prayer beads slipping from his fingers. Behind him, 6 other priests stood in silence, faces shadowed by torchlight. The silence was not just fear. It was dread. Ancient and buried. The drums were not mere instruments. They were seals. Each beat summoned power, but also held it back. The 7th was different. It had been used only when all else failed. And now, it had answered with silence. Adu whispered, "Call the listener." That night, the rats fled the earth. The animals wailed. Infants would not stop crying. And at dawn, the youngest drummer was found dead. His mouth stuffed with clay, eyes turned to brittle stone. Inside the shrine, Ikena the blind listener was brought forth. Once, he had laid his ear to the 7th drum and heard something that took his sight. Now, he stood before it again. He knelt. He pressed his head to the cracked hide. He froze. He stirs, he croaked. He is angry. Adu stepped back. We bound him to guard the land. No, Ikena asked. You used him to win your greatest war, then buried him when you feared his wrath. You sealed Oji-Ala not out of reverence, but betrayal. Thunder rumbled deep beneath the stone. He has been silent too long, Ikena whispered. And silence is not peace. It is pressure. And pressure burst. The mountain split at dusk. Not in quake, but in eruption. A wound torn through the land. Crimson light spilled into the sky, casting the valley in a false sunset. Soldiers screamed and dropped their weapons as the battlefield tore open. From the chasm, he rose. Oji-Ala, Lord of the Deep. Titan of stone and memory. His arms still wrapped in ancient chains. His skin inscribed with glowing runes that pulsed with memory. His eyes sealed with ashvine. A god not of light or sky, but of what lives beneath. Each step sent tremors across the land. Spears cracked. Stone shattered. Neither side, invaders nor defenders, could run. They collapsed to their knees, weeping like children. Oji-Ala roared, not with voice, but with force. He raised his chained fist and slammed them into the ground. The earth obeyed. Stone spires shot from the soil, impaling hundreds. A tidal wave of dust swept across the battlefield. The air itself bent and broke. And far above, the shrine's drums exploded into fire, one by one. Smoke coiled through the broken shrine, and from it, he stepped. The traveler, cloaked in weathered black, mouth wrapped in cloth, green eyes gleaming beneath his hood like ancestral stars. "You called him," he said softly. Adu turned, robes in tatters, voice cracked. "I was trying to protect the kingdom. I only sealed what could not be controlled." The traveler's voice was calm. "You silenced the god to feel safe. Now his silence has become a scream." Adu fell to his knees. "Tell me how to stop him." The traveler paused. Then, like mist in wind, vanished, leaving only his final words. "You don't stop the buried. You answer them." Outside, the mountain folded inward, swallowing the city whole. By morning, nothing remained. Where Agbani once stood, there was only water. A wide, steaming lake that hissed with unseen breath. No ruins. No bones. Just mist and memory. No stories are told of that day. No victory was claimed. Only silence remains. And sometimes, if you sit by the lake, you can hear it. 6 drum beats. Then a pause. The 7th never comes. To this day, no drum is carved with 7 skins. And no priest dares ask why. Moral: some silences are not peace. They are warnings waiting to wake.